What is up, everybody? Lyle, no hippie trucking and transportation. Sitting here in all my stupidity. Boy, I got to take the blame for this one. Jesse, what's up? 313. What's going on? We're going to get into my immense stupidity here in just a second. Golden Boy Expert, what's up? My God. Ed out there living that good life out there in the Atlanta metro area. All that good weather and everything. All right. Sean, Indianapolis, still bad. Slime Pack, boy, let me tell you, I'm going to jump right into this ignorance that I got myself into. So I've been sitting for a number of days because the weather out in the Nashville area was all jacked up. So I get a load, right? Now, I knew that there were some bad road conditions out there near Memphis and all that. But I was like, it has to be over with by now. So I get the load, and they don't have an appointment time on it. It's going from Goodlettsville to New Albany, Mississippi. So I'm like, set the appointment or whatever. So once I got that, I just pulled over to see what was up with the appointment and everything and started checking road conditions. Man, them road conditions were all messed up. Not where I was at, but where I was going. I was going to have to take 40 to 269 down to 22 and then to New Albany, Mississippi. Those roads are basically jacked up, right? So I'm like, all right, let me sit at this TA because I stopped at the TA in, forget what city it's in, Denmark, Tennessee. And stopped there for the night. They did not touch that place with a plow at all. I got to give it to White House, Tennessee. They got on it. That whole place was plowed up and everything. So I get up this morning, looking at road conditions, all that kind of stuff, seeing what was going on. Road's still messed up out there. Now, here's the conundrum I'm in. I need to get some reefer fuel. So I was like, okay, let me just, they did reset the appointment, or they didn't reset it. They set the appointment for the 30th at 0200. So I was like, all right, I really don't need to move anyway. So let me just circle around, get some fuel, and then I'll check and see what happens, what's going on tomorrow with the roads. Now, just getting out of my spot wasn't a challenge as much. Well, it wasn't a challenge as far as my truck as much as it was everybody else stuck and all this kind of stuff. So I got to wait for all that to clear. So I'm like, okay, boom. Go around to the fuel pumps. No fuel whatsoever at the place. So now I'm like, okay, I don't want to go further west because if they don't have fuel here, when I get out there in Mississippi, it's even going to be worse, right? So I backtrack 18 miles to this Love's I'm at now, fill up my truck, fill up the reefer, all that. So now I'm just going to wait around. I keep looking on Facebook, highway patrols, telling people to stay off the highway out there, everything. So at least I'm at a place where I can get fuel. I got it already, but I don't know. I'm just stupid for taking that damn load to begin with. So now I'm just sitting around. The truck stop's empty. Hopefully everybody that's at this truck stop is going east. Everything east seems to be fine right now. It's west that's the problem. All right, so let's see. 5733, what's going on with you? Nothing, just out here basking in this goddamn stupidity. I can't even believe I was this stupid to take this look. I should have looked, right? I just assumed that this storm happened like 5 days ago. The road still can't be bad. All right. 30s. All right. I felt the same way going east of Memphis yesterday. And see, the problem is the roads aren't bad where I'm at now. The biggest problem is getting out there and being in a position where there isn't any fuel and all that stuff. Not necessarily for my truck, but for my reefer. Not so much now as it was before, but nothing I'm seeing is leading me to believe that the roads are going to be any better out there anytime soon. Primarily on stretches of 269 and stretches of 22. $210, what's up? What's going on? 313, happy I'm in Montana. Normally I wouldn't be happy to be in Montana this time of the year, but it can't be this bad. I mean, here's the problem, is you got all these people out here. You know, what's that little stupid ass term all these people in the South say? You know, if God brought the weather, he'll take it away. Well, you know, we got too many praying motherfuckers out here and not enough people actually putting in that work. Tim Travels, what's going on? I'm just out here basking in my stupidity. Texas Panhandle. Boy, I wouldn't mind being somewhere other than this right now. I mean, I've got to be in the worst place. I mean, I was in the worst place when it hit Tennessee, and now where I'm going is probably, I mean, they're talking about trucks and people being stranded on that road forever. All right, 210. They wanted to send me to Shelbyville, Tennessee. It really just depended on how you were going to get there and where you were coming from. Because Tennessee is okay right now. You know, I did just backtrack this morning to come to this Love's, going the opposite direction of the load, and the roads were okay. I mean, there were places where only one lane was visible, but it's not like they're even attempting to do anything out here. I mean, if you're not going to clean the roads, at least act like you give a fuck about it. Like, you could just have a bunch of people out there with salt shakers acting like they're at least trying. Tyree, 3790, did I end up leaving Love's? Yeah, yesterday I left the Love's I was at, went and picked up a load in Goodlettsville, headed to New Albany, Mississippi, got down to the TA in Denmark, Tennessee, was going to post up there and see if the weather cleared on 269 and 22, and in that Memphis, Mississippi area. Woke up in the morning, looked at my reefer, felt like I needed to get some reefer fuel, drove around to the fuel island, no fuel available. So I'm at a Love's now, but I'm at a Love's 18 miles back the direction I was driving yesterday just to get some reefer fuel. So that's what's up. And the line to get in this Love's was all the way down to the highway exit just to get in and get some fuel. So that's what's going on now. Hey, 210, where are you at in Mississippi and what's going on out there? Oh, Gulfport. Okay, I don't know what the weather's like down there. I've been sitting since the 20th because my drive shaft broke. Well, sorry to hear that. All right, 3752, pray long enough and the roads will clear up. That's the way they do it out here. And here's how bad the shit is in Mississippi. Almost the entire drive to where I parked last night was, I was following behind some, the people that work on the electrical lines and all that. There was like a convoy of about 15 of those vehicles going to try to save Mississippi because apparently they don't have any of those people out there. So Eric B66 about to go to Prime. Any tips? I would, man, there's just too many tips out there to really name one of them, or to give them off the top of my head. I would say you are the company you keep. So try to, I just had somebody ask me why I wasn't talking about some situation about some Prime driver that, wasn't making it and all this kind of stuff. And he was like, why don't I speak on that? Because nobody I talk to is having those problems. So I would say if you start hanging around a bunch of whining ass motherfuckers, those aren't the people to hang out with. Because that will attract that shit to you. I'm just letting you know. I mean, and stack up some money. You notice I'm calling myself an idiot for taking this load, and I sat 4 days last week and all this kind of shit. But you don't hear me stressing about the money. So get you some money stacked up so these things become minor inconveniences, and you're not having to move because you need to pay rent or a mortgage or a car payment or whatever like that. That's the biggest tip. Stack you up some money to survive times like this, because this is just an inconvenience for me. It's not a real problem. I was in Oklahoma, stuck for 3 days in the snow. Speaking of which, this is the worst weather I've dealt with in 7 years of trucking. I mean, I've been in worse weather, but I haven't been in worse situations than what I'm in now. All right. Jesse had me convinced to stay in California till April. Man, I'm telling you, I don't know what's up with this winter pattern, but keep your ass out there. The thing they keep sending messages. All right. The thing is, they keep sending messages, what ETA to delivery. I'm just going to tell them, hey, I'm going to tell them it's going to get there when it's going to get there. Because I did send them a message this morning saying, hey, because when they first reset that appointment, it seemed like there was way too much time on it. Like my fleet manager sees the appointment, he sends me a message, and he's like, man, that's a long time out, but this is a Walmart load. They're like, I know that they say don't get there more than an hour early, but just get it there when you get it there. And I sent a message back, and I was like, I don't think it's going to happen. I'll let you know. So then this morning I sent a message, and my fleet manager is teaching ACE 2 class today, so another fleet manager replied back, and it was just like, okay, please let us know ETA, or please let us know when you know an ETA for safe delivery. And I'm like, listen, there's not going to be a such thing as a safe delivery on this. There might be a passable delivery or something like that, but there is no way that any of those roads out there are going to be considered safe. Doesn't mean you can't get there, but it ain't going to be, it's not safe passage. Let me put it that way. All right. I'll take a blizzard in Iowa over an inch of snow anywhere down south. That's what I'm saying. And surprisingly, like I said, Tennessee they were slower than normal, but at least they got on it. These guys, I'm telling you, in Mississippi, from what I've been hearing, there hasn't been a blade touch the highway out there, or any sand or salt or any of that. And here's another problem. It's sunny out here right now, right? I don't know what it's like where I'm going or along that route. But if all those trucks are stuck on the highway, how's the sun going to get down and at least get some radiation on it? I don't know. All right. I don't think the South is prepared like the North. I agree. They're definitely not prepared, but at least you got to have something for emergencies. I mean, just because you barely ever get snow doesn't mean that you can't have at least something out there. Don't want to be on the East Coast this weekend. I'm going to be very selfish with these next loads coming up. If I get a load after I'm done with this shit, I'm not I'm gonna check out everything before I send out a, I'll do it or not do it or whatever the situation is. But I'm not even thinking about going to the East Coast at all anyway now. Good weather, bad weather, whatever. After this shit. All right, this is the first load in 29 months. I'm technically late, and I'm not gonna be in a ditch for one load. I don't care when this load gets there. I'll be honest with you. It'll get there when it gets there. So we're going to be testing that whole, well, I don't know if you could even move on 22 right now or not. But I'm not going to be out here stressing out about when the load gets there, doesn't get there, how much money I'm losing and, whatever. All right, Tyree, at least you're moving. There's still trucks stuck on I-20 in Louisiana. There's still trucks stuck on 22. I don't know if I was saying 20 earlier or not. 22, 78, 22 in along the path I need to go on. So they got highway patrol officers out there saying, keep your ass off the road. So I'm going to believe them. And there's a Facebook post where there's a lady on there that runs this thing, and man, it is like the best for it's called, listen, if you're not part of this Facebook group, Daily Forecast and Road Conditions for Truckers. So if you look up there, that's kind of what the Facebook page looks like. And what they do is, or what this lady does primarily, is she updates everything, and as soon as it's not an issue anymore, it gets deleted. So you don't have a bunch of shit you're having to sift through or anything like that. But she posted something on here earlier today. Let me see if I can find it. Let me. Wrong highway. Yeah, here's what she posted. Drivers just not listening to stay off of I-22. The state police have been begging semis to stay off the northern roads in the state. They can't get things cleaned up because of things like this. They spend hours and hours getting people unstuck. It's just not worth it, guys and gals. When they call for snow in this state and other states like Louisiana, you better eat the cost of fuel and reroute. Now, there's no way for me to reroute. There's one way I can reroute if I take 45. But if the major highways are messed up, the state route 45 has really got to be tore up. So I'm not even going to play with that. And then she goes on to say, once you get into this state after an ice storm or big snowstorm, you will be stuck in this state for days on end. So anyway, that's what I've been concerned about is 269. Once I see that clear up, and then 22. Once those two get cleared up, then I might think about moving. The problem is I don't want to move on a possibility, because then parking out there becomes an issue if I can't go any further. And then fueling, primarily my reefer, becomes a problem as well. So those are things that I got to keep in mind. Give me just a sec. All right. Tyree, Arkansas has been doing a pretty good job. You know what? Arkansas, the last time I dealt with ice and snow in Arkansas, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, it seemed like they did pretty good. As soon as you hit Memphis, like as soon as you cross that state line, almost immediately it went from okay to a shit show. And I probably sat more because of bad weather in Tennessee than any other state. That year, I ended up sitting 3 days at that, or 2 days at that TA, and forget the name of the TA, but it's the last one before you hit that downgrade coming into Memphis on I-40. Then I did 4 days or 5 days, whatever it was, just recently. Now, technically, me sitting here isn't Tennessee's fault, but I happen to be sitting in Tennessee. Romeo is burning is in Florida. I would love to be in Florida right now. People who get into work 9 to 5 and go home every night should just quit asking truckers everything. There you go. All right, take a ride. I-55 and 22 going south of Memphis is still shut down. I was hearing, take a ride, I was hearing that it might be open going eastbound on 22. But either way, it's not good road conditions, even if that is the case. All right, 3752, I just said I need to get through a terminal for IFTA stickers. More snow coming this week on the East Coast. I mean, I'd almost be damn near ready to just say, let me just shut down this outing. I don't know. All right, the Facebook page is called, somebody asked what the Facebook page was called. It is called Daily Forecast and Road Conditions for Truckers. She plays no games on that Facebook page. Any of that political shit gets you booted out of there. Any talking crazy or coming back with any smart ass comments gets you kicked out of there, or at least warned and then kicked out. It's like a very professional page. I don't know if this lady's husband or somebody's a truck driver, but she runs that shit 24 hours a day, literally. And the good thing about it is you can ask questions on that page. Anybody in the area can respond to it. Whatever. I mean, that is probably what I use most in terms of what I think I'm going to be getting myself into. All right, take a ride. There's times when back roads are better than the interstate. I don't know. You know what? I did. Okay, so actually, I don't know if he's on here or not, but 412 sent me a news broadcast that was talking about those highways. And there was a guy that said that he got around the blockage by taking this highway and that highway. And he said I wouldn't suggest those either. He just happened to be able to get through it, but he wasn't on it. If I was to take 45, I would be on 45 for miles and miles and miles. And if you get stuck on that, or if road conditions get bad, there's really nowhere to pull over there. I mean, I guess there might be a Walmart or something like that, but all right, 313 doesn't feel bad for drivers that put themselves in those situations. Yeah, I guess if you know about it, but man. All right. 3752, eastbound 22 is better than westbound, but still ridiculous. That's what I'm hearing. I hear westbound's like a no-go, period. Romeo's burning came from El Paso, standing to 10. Oh, okay, I guess you're on 10. It was clear all day. Okay. My truck used to do 66, but I went to the terminal to get the DOT done, and now I can only go 65. Well, shit, if they're going to be doing that, they might as well get me up to a true 65. Not that it matters, but looking at Trucker Path, I-55 and 22 is still red going in and out of Memphis. That's what I'm saying. And like I said, I'm not tripping. I'm not. It was just weird the way they put it. Like, we know the appointment's for the 30th, but just get it there when you get it there. You know, there's probably a lot of starving ass people in Mississippi right now, or at least in that area. And I almost feel like saying the Ivan Drago shit. If they starve, they starve. And even some of these roads I was driving on yesterday, you know, at least they had been touched, but a lot of that stuff was just like straight up packed down ice, and I could just imagine what it's like out there. All right, Tyree took a back road the other day going through Texas, and it was iced over worse than the highway. They typically are worse than the highways. I was almost tempted to at least try that route because I do know there's a turnaround where I could turn around and come back the opposite direction, but I'm not going through any mental gymnastics and everything like that. Just I didn't see enough truck stuff along that route for me to feel comfortable. Like sometimes if I'm gonna pick an off-brand highway or some shit like that, I'll get on Trucker Path and see, you know what? If there's some truck stops or some parking along the way, then I'm like, okay, I might go ahead and take that route. But like I said, these guys aren't doing shit out here to these to the main roads, let alone the side roads and all that kind of stuff. And this Love's up here, this Love's is not like the Love's I left. The Love's I left, they had 3 plows out there the day before I left. This Love's here hasn't touched anything. So I don't know. There was somebody that was stuck at this TA in Denmark, Tennessee this morning, and he was out there stepping on the gas. His wheels were spinning and spinning and spinning, and I think his trailer brakes were locked up. I think he thought he was on ice, but that walkway was a little too slick for me. I was gonna get out there and hit him with a little bit of that alcohol I got to unfreeze his brakes, but that walk was a little too slick for me to be jeopardizing the fall going over there to help. So he had to figure that one out on his own. I think finally it gave way, but I'm sure he wasn't doing his truck any good. $37.52. 90 said he'll have to wait until after midnight to get unloaded. I said, give me a door and give me a pallet jack and I'll unload it myself. That's another thing. Once I get out there to New Albany, Mississippi, once I get there, what's the roads like once you get off that major highway, just getting up to the Walmart? All right, might as well park since Prime is telling you read between the lines about the appointment time. Well, what they were saying more than anything, see, I think you're looking at the opposite way. What they were saying was the appointment was set for the 30th, so I get this yesterday, right? I'm only 200 and something miles away. What they were saying was, if you can get it there faster, just get it there. Don't worry about no OTIF or none of that stuff. Just get it there as soon as you can. That's what they were saying. So I don't know. I just know if there's more cold weather coming through here, it's not going to be good. I would literally take this load all the way back to the shipper and just drop it for free. They're giving you time to go out there and do the slip and slide on the highway. Yeah, not so much now than down the road. Take a ride. Why aren't you rolling? Because there's nowhere to roll to. Where I gotta go, highways are shut down. 269, 22. Those highways aren't providing passage at this moment. So I hate sitting too. And I was like, you know what? Let me see how much closer I could get. Then the problem is, okay, let's say I get out there and it still takes a long time to get those roads clear or whatever they're doing. I don't know what the actual thing is. How am I going to get some reefer fuel? All that kind of stuff. So, like I said to the people that came in or that weren't here at the beginning, I parked in Denmark, Tennessee this morning. I needed to get some reefer fuel. I was just going to go ahead and fuel up there at the TA, turn back around and park in a spot. And they didn't have any reefer fuel. So if they didn't have any reefer fuel there, and it gets worse the further I go west, I backtracked 18 miles to this Love's to get some, to fill up and then to get some reefer fuel. So I'm good to go. Because the worst case scenario would be to get out there, still not be able to get where I want to go, not be able to park because there's too many people out there trying to park, and not being able to get any fuel. So I figure I sit here and until the roads are cleared out there. And again, Highway Patrol is saying, we would appreciate it if you don't bring your black ass out here on 269 and 22 or anywhere in North Mississippi. Now, that's what they were talking to me specifically, but they said it in general. So go ahead and go on any of those little cameras that you can see on, go check out the cameras on I-22 in that Hickory Flat, New Albany, Meridian. Go check out the cameras in that area and see what that looks like. That shit looks like Wyoming as soon as, like, before they get out there able to do anything to the road. And there's people stuck out there. Like, they're making welfare calls and shit like that on people. Not necessarily truck drivers, because they're assuming truck drivers should be able to sustain this kind of stuff. But there's people out there with, like, I don't know what the people in cars are doing. Like, I don't know if they're just, I don't know what they're doing. Loaded in Illinois to Louisiana, delivering tomorrow. You better take a look and see what highways you taking out there. Because if you're going on 20, you may not be delivering tomorrow. They might have got that cleared up now, but there were people out there sitting for over 24 hours on the highway. Let me see the path you would most likely have to be taking. I might have to say that you ain't going to be making it. let's take a look at this. So you would either be coming down 57 to 55. Well, no, you don't want to do that. All right. Oh, shit. Well, you don't want to go down 45, which is the one that I was possibly. Man, what is your route going to be going out there? That's what I'm asking. 65 to Birmingham, Tuscaloosa. Man, Meridian. Hey, you ain't making it there tomorrow. If you do, leave me a comment on this video and tell me you made it. I don't see a clear route down there. I mean, you might be good until you hit Mississippi, but it looks like hopefully you're not thinking about this coming down 45 and all that from like what would that be, Fulton down 45 to get to I don't know. I don't know what route you plan on taking, but let me. Worst case, I'll detour through Texarkana when I get to West Memphis. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the weather, what the roads are like north of Memphis. But double check. I don't know what highways in Louisiana you'd be taking, but I know somebody out there stuck right now. I don't know if they're moving yet or not. I haven't spoke with them. Okay, it's basically going Lafayette out of Decatur. Okay, worst case. All right, we already went through that. Lloyd Bridges. What's up, Loud, man? I'm just out here waiting for all these people in Mississippi to pray for the roads to get better, because they'd rather do that than actually get somebody out there putting in that work. So that's what's up. I'm in Tennessee right now, waiting for them to clear up 269 and 22. West of Memphis wasn't that bad. On which highway? All right, so everything in Louisiana is all clear, so that's good. They had people out there stranded for a while. 44 degrees in Texas, but supposed to be a deep freeze again tomorrow, 8 degrees. 40, okay, I can see 40 being clear. It's 22 that's the problem. So the major issues in Mississippi, everything is clean. In Mississippi up to Jackson, everything I'm seeing as far as Mississippi is on 22. That's the problem. I'm in Jackson, Tennessee right now. I backtracked this morning to get fuel. I was in Denmark, Tennessee earlier. So yeah, everything looked clean up until Memphis on 40. But I got to get on 269, which is still showing major problems. And 22 is definitely showing major problems. So yeah, I would say that it's even cleaner going westbound on 40 than it is eastbound, just because the sun at least on my drive in here this morning. $37.52. Yeah, this cold weather is not helping anything melt. It's not that cold out. It's 33 degrees today. It's supposed to get to a high of 35. But the sun is like really working on this stuff. But it's gonna melt or it's gonna freeze again tonight. And again, I could drive further ahead. It's just, what do I do if I can't go further if I need fuel? That's the problem. So if the Tennessee, TA, and Denmark didn't have fuel this morning, there's nothing that's going to make me, I can't take a chance that anything further west is going to have fuel. But they keep sending drivers where it's bad. This is my fault right here. This is my fault right here. I knew that Tennessee, or not Tennessee, but Mississippi got hit. But this is like 5 days ago. I didn't even consider the fact that they wouldn't at least have it passable in 5 days. As a matter of fact, let me see if it looks any better out here. So I took this load with the assumption that it was going to be possible. Like, I was planning on driving straight there. What's up, respectfully chosen? All right, so let's see. All right, let's see. All right, so boom. I come down here, hit 265. 265 still looks bad from I don't know what that is. 269, should I say. Then from, I don't know, is that Vahalia or something? Pretty much all the way to, Jesus, all the way to pretty much all the way to where I gotta go is either solid red or it's like yellow. And the yellows would be the last 10 miles of my drive. The red is like, I don't know what that would be, 30 miles. And they're reporting unplowed roads, crashes, unplowed. So a ton of that. So I'm not playing with these people. Even if, first of all, I don't want to be sitting out there with no amenities whatsoever on a highway. All right. Respectfully chosen. I'm with Prime Inc. All All right, 3752. I can't believe how good Nashville roads are after going through Mississippi. Nashville did their thing yesterday. I got to give them that. Yeah, respectfully chosen. I'm with Prime Inc. Take a ride. You're in Jackson, Tennessee. Going where? I'm going to New Albany, Mississippi. The South is not the place to be. Absolutely. How's Prime treating y'all? Prime's treating me all right. I can't speak for everybody. You know, somebody was just asking me why I don't speak about people that aren't successful at Prime, and I just don't know them. So if I talked to if I knew somebody personally that was telling me that they were having a bunch of problems, and I would feel comfortable talking about it. But I just don't personally know anybody that isn't. So I'm doing well out here. I mean, this hasn't been one of the most successful outings, you know, being shut down like I have, but I'm not going to stress out about it. Respectfully chosen, if you go to some of my videos, my actual videos, not my lives, but there might be in this, I'm not sure. There's a email address. You could either email me your number or a list of questions or whatever, and I can get on that. One of those successful drivers I'm talking about, I've seen a few of them in here. Lenny, talking about being in Texas, 70 degrees and sunny. He's one of those people. There have been a few of them in here. My man Ed was in here earlier. He's one of those people. I'm not saying they don't have a bunch of bullshit to deal with. That's not Slime Pack. All right. Work hard at Prime and you'll be successful. Some people won't make it anywhere. And I will say that some people, even sometimes you could do everything right and still fail. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Seriously. You drew the wrong truck. You drew the wrong fleet manager. It could be a number of things. Now, sitting back and letting that whole thing play out. At some point, you gotta shut it. You know, you gotta make a change. Doing the same thing and expecting different results isn't one of the things I would do. I'm headed in for home time. Yeah, I know that, Slime Pack. Shoot, Slime Pack. She just has that as like her standard thing. I'm going home. I should be going home. But I got some stuff coming up I gotta do, so I gotta be home during a specific amount or a specific time. So other than that, I would probably know to shut this shit down. Like, okay, you know what? You ain't winning this time. Let's pack it up and go home. I mean, I'm not making no money, just not what I should be making. Shows a clean shot going 18, 125, 18. I don't know which, if you're talking about going down or what route you're talking about. Oh, hell no. I know you aren't talking about cutting through. There's no way I'm taking no state routes out there. I'm not, if you're talking about this, you know, if you're talking about if you're talking about me in a route out there, I'm not going to compound the misery with the tow bill. Yeah, I see that route. I've had that. Yeah, that's the route that. I mean, that's one of the routes I'm seeing, but uh, I just don't think that's a good route without. Yeah, it shows no slowdown, but that's because on Google Maps they're showing cars out there. I just I'm not comfortable taking that route when they can't even get the highways cleaned up. And I did mention that earlier. I did say there's another route that I would have taken down there had it not been for the snow. And one of the things I was listening to this morning that 412 sent me, there was somebody talking about taking this other route and he would not suggest it. And that was only to make a little bit of a detour, not taking a whole route down there. I don't know what route it was, but I might look up some local stuff on that just to double check. But I know a lot of people, as a matter of fact, he's probably listening now. Uh, my man Don, he tried to reroute one time through somewhere and he said it was the scariest. Not that this would be scary like what he rerouted through, but he was like, I'll never do that shit again. All right, what do I think about these icy truck stops? It's some bullshit. Like I said, the one I was at in Tennessee, they were out there with 3 snowplows in White House, Tennessee. The place I stopped last night in Denmark, Tennessee, nothing. It was like a game of Jenga getting trucks out of there. Some of them were broke down. They couldn't move anywhere. Well, I know one wasn't broke down, but he couldn't move. He had a flat tire, but he was in the middle of everything. There were some people that were stuck on ice, all this kind of stuff. So nothing out there. This Loves I'm at right now, not plowed at all. With it being only 90 miles, I'd run it. Man, I'll look and see if I can find something on the conditions on that, but okay, so 3752, the state routes are screwed west of Memphis. I made it 1 mile, turned around back to 22. That's kind of what I was thinking. Trucker 45 is a U.S. highway. Yeah, I know it's a U.S. highway, but if they can't even get the regular highways clean, what makes me think they're going to get 45 clean? And I did mention that I was possibly thinking about testing it out because I'm familiar with 45 and I know there's a place I could turn around. But shit, why am I the one stressing out about this shit? I mean, really, I'm not even going to worry about it. All right, is there any major slowdown? Okay, if there was major slowdown, then Google Maps would indicate it. I could see myself getting in a bad situation over there. I'm not compounding any problems I got. I just can't see how that road would be better than like, what did they do to that road to make it better than a major road? That is what my question would be. Like, just common sense would tell me. Now I can see that regular cars out there, which is what Google Maps is going to be basing most of its information on. Sure, they might be going a little bit faster or something like that. It may not be blocked, but what would make me believe that it's like in better condition than the regular highways? I don't know. And maybe they're doing something on 22 right now. I've never seen it pink before, but maybe things are getting better on 22. All right, sometimes it's easier to handle those roads because they're not as big. Trucker Trash Tammy, they got so many trees down, so much ice. There were a bunch of trees that had fell down on the highway on 40. I don't know about that route, but a ton of them. It's also state and not fed, so the municipality takes responsibility for the roads. The issue is, what do you do if you're committed way down a state highway and it goes to crap and can't pull over? Absolutely. Now, if I was sitting here and I was actually worried about, okay, well, you know what? I got to make a mortgage payment or I got to do whatever, and then I might change it up, but I just don't have that. I just don't have that same pressure. Yeah, I was gonna test that route because there is that Love's there along that route, and then I was gonna turn around, but I've already turned around and went 18 miles the wrong direction just to get fuel today. I'm done. But you know what? I will take a look at that route and see if I can get some actual intel on that route. Because that 45 would dump me right down into Indian Hills. I might check that out. Not today, though. All right. Hold on. Because normally I would have taken 45 down there anyway. Like if it was normal Tennessee, Mississippi weather, that would have been the route I was going to go anyway. It's the weather that had me going down that other route. All right, let's see. The issue is what... All right, we already went over that. I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling 22. Me neither. The area that's shut down right now, that was a bullseye for the ice. Yep, Oxford looks like a tornado hit it. All the trees are down from the ice, the whole town. Tito's and Soda, greetings from Columbus. What's up? Jeez. It really clears up the further east you go on 22. That freezing rain line. Yeah, 22 is fine. Or it's fine. Yeah, east. And I knew you were talking about 50, taking 125 and all that. I would probably be more likely to go the longer 45. Because there's more places to stop along that route in case things do get shitty. Yep, so either way, the appointments for tomorrow, 0200, or not tomorrow, Friday. So we'll double check this shit in the morning and get out there and then tell them when we're ready to go. And then if I do decide to go that route and look like an idiot, we'll be able to talk about that shit too. They ain't paying nobody for no out of route. Man, I still haven't met nobody that got paid. Hey, Tammy, have you, please, answer this seriously. Have you ever known anybody that actually got paid for going out of route? And to be honest with you, it's actually shorter. So that, or about the same or something. I haven't looked, but I don't think I've ever known anybody to actually get paid for out of route miles. I asked for it one time, and they were like, no, because I was going to take that route up into Salt Lake City. I was going to take the 40 to the 25 to the 550 and go up through Moab and all that shit one time. And yep, nope, we ain't paying that shit. Uh-oh. 3752 added 100 miles to the load to be safer. I'm not getting, okay, I was making sure. I thought you said you did. I think they might say that. So take a ride. If I was to do it, I'm not sure I'll go the 18, 125, 15. I'd probably just take the 45. A little bit longer, but more places to stop along the way. Shit like that. So that is a possibility in the morning. I will double check that in the morning. And worst comes to worst, there is that Love's down there. Well, the road does not look that good leaving out of here. Shit, that looks bad. Or no, that's not 45. Hold on. All right, 45. Boom. So we got the marathon. We can stop it and turn around if it's bad. Come down a little bit further. Boom. Got the Love's down there. How far is that? 64 miles. Got that. Let's see. .45 truck stop. That might be a play. That might be a play. Yeah. Yeah, I'll reevaluate that one in the morning. All right. I added 30, 60 miles to a lot of loads, better fuel mileage, and stay off slow highways and red lights. That's one trick to get 1350 miles easy in 33 hours. Yeah. Especially this new GPS thing that Prime has. Not the best routing on that sometimes. And you'll have the right route in there, but then you stop or something, and for some reason sometimes it recalculates some other stupid route. I'm not a fan of that thing. Yep. Yeah, you know what? I use the Peterbilt GPS for route planning, and then I have a Garmin also. But then this truck map GPS, that's free. That one's pretty good, and that one. So I double check, different routes and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm about to get off here and go lay down, see if I could actually find something on 45, see what they're talking about on that, and then go from there. But I appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I am out.